welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name is Alexis and I post 2 videos a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday at 7 AM. So if you love a recipe video like this one and you want to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And now I'm going to share with you how to make my delicious oven baked spring bean stew. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make my delicious oven baked spring bean stew. Now this recipe is really easy to do, and I know it's not spring in the UK, I know it's autumn now, but I was thinking that this is a lovely stew to have in any season, and I think I named it spring bean stew because spring always reminds me of new beginnings, and I love spring. I think it's a really lovely time of the year, so I think that's why I named it a spring bean stew. We're going to be having this for our dinner this evening because, as I said, it's a lovely meal to have on a cold autumn evening. So while I was making it, I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my delicious oven baked spring bean stew. Firstly, I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees. While the oven is preheating, I've put a large pan and I'm going to put this onto a high heat, and then I'm going to add a little bit of oil to the base of the pan, and I'm just going to leave the pan to heat up. The pan has started to get nice and hot, so what I have done is I have peeled, sliced and diced 1 onion, and I'm just going to pop that into the pan, and I'm going to fry the onions until they start to soften. I think the pan is a little bit too hot as well here, so I'm just going to turn the heat down slightly so that the onion doesn't stick to the bottom. But it already has, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water to the base of the pan to stop the onions from sticking, and I'm just going to continue to fry these now until these, as I said, start to soften. The onions have started to soften, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my carrots, courgettes and red pepper. So I have peeled and sliced and diced into sort of 1 centimetre pieces, 2 whole carrots. Now in the original recipe I said to use butternut squash and carrots, but I didn't have any butternut squash. But if you wanted to use butternut squash, then you can. I use about 200 grams. I find that's fine between, it serves 4 people quite nicely. And then I also peeled and diced, sliced and diced 1 courgette as well, and I removed the top from the pepper, removed the core and the seeds, and I just sliced and diced the flesh as well. So I'm now going to put all of these ingredients into my frying pan, trying not to get the potato in as well there. So I'm just going to put all of the ingredients into the pan, and I'm going to fry these now until these start to soften. And yeah, basically you just want them, well, the carrots and the courgette probably won't soften, the peppers will soften slightly, but you just want to heat them through a bit. And I normally like to fry these for about 5 minutes now, because I find that if I fry them a bit longer, when I put them in the oven, they tend to go a bit softer. If you like crunchy vegetables, or if your family like crunchy vegetables, then please fry them for less time. Mine are a bit funny with vegetables. The softer they are, the better, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to fry these vegetables now. I've been frying the vegetables for a good 5 minutes and they are starting to soften beautifully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my herbs to this now. So I have some thyme here. I've got about 4 sprigs of thyme, and what I'm just doing is just removing the leaves from the thyme, and I'm just putting the leaves into the saucepan like so. So all you do is simply pull back on the stalk and that takes the leaves off, and it is that easy and simple. And then I also have a few sprigs of rosemary as well, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pull back on the stalk, and that takes off the leaves from the plants. You can always, the leaves from the stick, you can always just put the whole thing in if you want to. But my husband and son, again, are a bit funny about things like that, so I always remove the leaves and hope for the best. Hope they don't notice it's in there, basically. I'm just going to fry that. Oh, that smells so nice. Oh, if only I had smell-o-vision. Oh, this smells yummy. Yep, so I'm going to fry that for a few minutes, like so. And then I'm going to add in as well some tamari. Tamari is a fermented soya sauce, so it's fermented for a bit longer than soya sauce normally is. And it's gluten-free as well. So I have a slight gluten intolerance, so I always like to buy this from my local supermarket. It is a bit more expensive than soya sauce, but it is better for the body, I do think so. And then I'm also going to add in 2 tablespoons of tomato puree as well to this, like so. So I'm just going to stir these around until, oh, that is smelling so nice now. So I've stirred these enough now, and I am going to add in my stock, and I've got to go and get a tin of tomatoes as well. I'm going to go and get my tomatoes first. So I've grabbed my tin of tomatoes, and I'm going to put this into the base of my pan. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of stuff on the bottom, so there's a lot of sticky stuff on the bottom, and you want to keep that if you can, because that's going to add flavour to your meal. So I'm going to add in my tin of tomatoes, and then I've got about 500 or so mils of chicken stock, or you can use vegetable stock if you're making this into a vegan dish. So I put that in the can, and that just gets rid of the juice from around the outside of the can. So waste not, want not, as my grandmother used to say. And now I'm just going to let that come to the boil, but I'm going to add in my potatoes and my beans as well. So I'm going to bring this to the boil, and I'm going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes on the hob. I'm going to put in my beans as well. So I've got about 200 grams of cannellini beans. You can use any kind of beans you like. These were dried beans, so if you're going to use canned, then I'd say like 1 to 2 cans of beans is good. I use dried because I just think it's a bit better for us. And also a bit better for the environment and stuff as well, less waste and package. So yeah, I've used dried, and I soak them overnight. That's my front doorbell, I've got to go. The joys of modern life, that was a parcel I've just had delivered to my door, nothing exciting unfortunately. I was talking about the beans, so basically I put the beans in a bowl last night, and I added water, and then I put the bowl into the fridge, and I left them to soak overnight. Then I drained and rinsed them this morning, and then I've just simply put them into a pan, brought the pan to the boil, and let them simmer. But while they were in the pan, I added baking powder and salt to them as well, and the baking powder and the salt, well, the baking powder helps them to soften and cook a bit quicker as well. Depending on how old they are, depends on how long the beans will take to cook. So the older they are, the longer they'll take. These I think took about half an hour to soften, so that wasn't too bad. And then once they were soft, I then just drained them again and rinsed them through the colander over the sink. And then I put them into this, and I am going to add a little pinch of salt. Salt and pepper to your taste, not too much for us. We like salt and pepper, but we don't like too much. So now I'm going to add the pepper as well, and then I'm just simply going to stir that round, and I'm going to bring it to the boil, And then once it comes to the boil, which I think it is now, I'm just going to turn the heat down slightly and I'm going to leave this to simmer until the potatoes cook. So this will be simmering for about 10 to 15 minutes now. So the stew has been simmering away beautifully here for a good half an hour. Sorry. The stew has been simmering away here for a good 10 minutes and the potatoes are cooked. I promise they are. I just picked one up and it just fell straight off the fork. And now it's not doing it. Oh no! Right. I promise these are cooked because some of them are falling apart. So yes, these are lovely and soft now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this stew into the oven for a good hour now. The stew has been in the oven for about an hour now and it smells so good. Oh, that smells so good. It's almost dinner time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve this up and then we are going to have our dinner, and that is our dinner done. That's how you make my delicious oven-baked spring bean stew, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be having this for my dinner this evening and it smells so good, I can't wait. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.